Learning and development in this new, more remote and virtual world is a huge topic of discussion across the world right now. And I asked people what questions they had that maybe we could answer as we continue to talk about this with our clients and our contacts a lot of the time. So here's some Q&A that might stimulate and inspire you on this topic right now. So first question I had in was, is L&D something to focus on right now? Is it not going to overload people? And so my view on that is absolutely it's the right time to focus on development, because people need to feel that they're growing in an environment where there's a lot of uncertainty. And indeed, a lot of the workshops, a lot of the online live sessions that we've been doing are helping people equip themselves for the new phase that we're going through. And in fact, an ongoing phase and phases of uncertainty. So absolutely, I would say people need new approaches. They need to brush off old tools and techniques and be inspired. So now is the time for learning and development. And it would be really, really easy to stop putting the investment and the intention in. But I really do think that more than ever, people need to feel that they're growing, that they're advancing. All right, so second question I had in was, how much L&D right now should be live versus development and content that's e-learning? So this is different for everyone, depending on the type of development that you're looking for, the type of learning style that you have and that teams have. But what I would say is a blend has always been important. But what we've got now is ability to access different content in different ways. And we believe that we can do it and it's possible in a way that maybe we didn't 6 months ago. And so, yes, I would say it's absolutely the thing to be doing, but mix it up and look for what is it you want to develop? What is it you need to know? Where do you want more knowledge or more experience or more input? And then go and find that through a variety of sources so that you get a mix of inspiration and content. And definitely make sure that you get a mix of live versus e-learning in the more traditional sense. I mean, we have our platform Source Code, which is for on-demand learning, but it works brilliantly where it's a bit of a blend, where we do a live session and then there's more depth available for people to go online and look at that in their own pace and at their own time. Should we go for question 3? Question 3 is, what are the best ways to support people right now with learning and development in that space? And really, again, I would say it's about what do you need and what's the learning preference. But definitely we're seeing a rise in the amount of coaching we're doing. A lot of our clients are upping the mentoring programs that they have in place and making sure that people know what they can access in terms of mentoring. And indeed, peer coaching and group coaching. We're doing heaps around giving structure for people to be able to have their own group coaching style and sessions to really support them moving forward. Let's see, another question. So how will learning and development adapt in the future? I guess I've covered this in some ways, but the trend that we are predicting is certainly for more of a blend of online, live, more static and variety, and the ability to be able to connect with people and learn from them in a way that maybe we wouldn't have thought about before. We're certainly bringing our faculty into live sessions more, to do little bursts, to bring their stories in, to inspire groups in a way that we would never have been able to do if we were all in a room together, real time, physically. So that's certainly a big trend I think we're going to need in terms of how we adapt in the future. How do I get senior buy-in to keep learning and development at the forefront of the organisation? Well, to me, getting buy-in to anything is, what is the problem that someone's got that you're trying to solve and that what you do is solving? And so the problems or the opportunities that we definitely see right now and that will be there for the next 6 to 12 months plus are well-being and people needing to own their own well-being, but then be able to learn more about how to manage their own well-being because of the risks of not doing that being so huge. There's also, of course, a huge need to make sure that we're linking anything we do to productivity. And so learning and development that helps people be more productive in the new phase, the new world, is going to be absolutely critical. So they're two of many things in terms of getting buy-in. But remember, what is it that we're giving the learning and development to help advance or to help solve or to minimize in terms of risk? Can learning and development add much to the current remote working situation? Well, absolutely it can. I have done very little else for the last 3 weeks than work with leadership teams, individuals, groups, team leaders on how to lead in this new reality that we all face and what that's going to look like for the next 12 months plus. And so I absolutely agree that this is the time to make sure that you're equipping people in the best possible way. Let's have another couple more questions. What are the key learning and development trends that you're seeing? I probably covered that to some degree, but really there's definitely a trend towards people owning their own personal development. So we're seeing individuals that we work with saying, I'm not commuting now as much or at all. So what I am going to do, or I am doing, is using the time that I would be commuting to develop myself, to go and watch talks, to listen to podcasts, to have a networking session with somebody, to go and read, to do some e-learning, but really making sure that people are intentional about their personal development. And that is a trend I think we will see continue. And we in organisations need to help people continue that trend too, because it's so important to use our time to develop ourselves and to stop each day and just say, what did I learn today? And how does that help me to grow? There's another trend that I would see in terms of consistency of development as well. And rather than sort of quite disparate development opportunities, having a slightly more consistent approach to the development that organisations and teams offer. So consistent might be, by the way, lots of different types, but in a way that are around consistent themes that people can tap into as they need to. And aligning the development to where the business or where the organisation is going is another big trend. So really using this latest few months as an opportunity just to pause and say, what do we want the strategy to be moving forward? And how do we make sure we get our arms around that and really ensure that learning and development is powering us into the future and supporting where we're going as a business, equipping people for what they're going to need in the future in a very different world, regardless of whether things have been accelerated because of COVID. And then I do think there is a period we're in right now where people are taking stock, individuals and teams are taking stock of their learning and saying, actually, what are we learning right now as a team? What are we learning right now as a squad or as a system? What am I learning right now? And how do I want to be intentional about this next period of learning for me? What is it I need? What is it I want? And these might be very business related skills or experience or knowledge. It might be very personal, much more about style, behavior, or indeed some new skills that are totally unrelated to business, but help us to exercise our mind in different ways. Let's go for a final question on here and ask us, what do we think we can expect to see in the future around learning and development? Well, I've probably covered it, but to crystallise down, absolutely want to see, and I'm sure we will see, more virtual learning and development for people at every level in organisations around a whole raft of topics. There's definitely a piece there around that, and around ownership, around people owning their own development, so that no longer am I waiting for someone to come and have a conversation with me. I'm owning it and saying, this is what I want to do. This is how I want to grow. And then finally, I think colleague development too, and or each of us taking some responsibility to help others to grow and to develop in the way that they want to. So there are just a few thoughts there are more questions here, and I'm sure we could go on. It's a passion of mine. We could go on, but that gives you a little snapshot and some answers to some of the questions that are on your mind right now. And I hope that they give you a bit of inspiration as you think about what development you need, what development your people need, and if you're a learning and development professional, how you're going to make sure that you put together the right approach that follows the areas around well-being, leading, managing and living in uncertainty, and making sure that we all feel psychologically and physically safe. Thank you.